What's up, nerds? Zach the Goblin here. I am still working on the next book in my Horus Heresy Abridged series, so I figured in the meantime, I would do another Primarch Tier List. Back-to-back slop. We are going crazy over here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I think I can speak for all of us when I say there is this question constantly burning in the back of each and every one of our minds. Which Primarch has nice feet? Have no fear, for I'm going to be making a tier list to answer that very question.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
First, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who watches my videos, whether that be my slop content or my more serious videos.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay. I am done with that joke. Well, at least for this video. Probably. If you guys enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more Warhammer 40k content. Without further ado, it's Goblin time. Okay, so quick rules. This tier list goes from S to F, with S tier being godlike, worship-worthy feat, and F tier being garbage, straight up heresy against podiatry itself, and then everything in between. Basically, I think the higher up on the tier list, the more money this Primarch could make on feetfinder.com. I am going to be doing each iteration of the Primarch, so any version I decide in my infinite wisdom is distinct enough. For example, the demon versions of the traitor Primarchs are going to potentially have a different ranking than their default versions. Okay, and as always, we're going to go in Legion order and start with the Primarch of the Dark Angels, Lionel Jonson. I think that the lion's feet are probably perfectly clean. His nails would be trimmed with military precision, toes perfectly symmetrical because of course they are. That being said, you just know the lion sleeps in his armor, so they're probably pretty pale from lack of sunlight. So they're clean, competent, no flaws, but you wouldn't write any poetry about them. So because of that, I'm going to place his feet in B tier. I think that the lion's feet would be like a fine wine and only get better with age. So because of that, I'm going to put Old Lion up in A tier. Okay, that leads us to Fulgrim, Primarch of the Emperor's Children. Okay, so Fulgrim's whole thing was perfection. You think a guy who polished his armor 3 times a day didn't also polish his toes? His feet had to be immaculate, silky smooth, perfectly moisturized, probably perfumed. I think we can all agree that Fulgrim's feet belong in S tier. But on the flip side, we have Demon Prince Fulgrim. He doesn't have feet, so I'm gonna put him in F tier. And I didn't mention this earlier, but F tier is reserved for like the worst of the worst when it comes to feet. So like, they can't just be bad, they have to be exceptionally bad, or in this case, non-existent, to wind up in F tier. Okay, next up we have the Primarch of the Iron Warriors, Perturabo. Imagine feet permanently covered in machine oil, cracked skin from standing on metal floors for decades, and absolutely zero care taken to maintain them. Like, I just can't imagine he cares at all about foot hygiene. Like, I imagine his nails are all cracked and jagged. And beyond that, you know he resents anyone with nice feet. There has to be a timeline where he wrote an angry 20-page treatise on why perfectly clean feet are wasteful and inefficient. Like, they're perfectly fine functional feet, but you know those dogs are ugly. I'm gonna put him in D tier. And that leads us to Demon Prince Perturabo, who might not actually be a demon prince. It looks like he's replaced a lot of his body with metal, but I don't know if you knew this. Perturabo actually never got rid of his original feet because he says that his feet are already optimal and efficient. There's no need to change them. My source? Trust me, bro. So because his feet haven't actually changed, I'm going to put him in the exact same spot. Okay, now we have Primarch of the White Scars, Jaghatai Khan. The Khan's feet are built for speed. If the Primarchs were racehorses, the Khan would win the Derby every time. These are athletes' feet in the best way. Long, lean, powerful toes. His soles are tough, but not super callous like Russ's barbarian stompers. Now, are they pretty? Not really. You're not getting Fulgrim's polished toes or Sanguinius' angelic arches here. They're the feet of a man who lives for freedom, for motion, for fun. So I'm really torn at either low A tier or high B tier. So for right now, I'm gonna put him at high B tier above the lion. Okay, that leads us to the Primarch of the Space Wolves, Leman Russ. As I said earlier, this is a set of barbarian stompers. Leman Russ's feet are probably exactly what you'd expect from the Wolf King of Fenris. Raw, rugged, and built for survival in the harshest of environments. This man spent his formative years running barefoot through blizzards. So yeah, his soles are basically leather armor at this point. But hygiene? Absolutely zero. His nails are probably way too long. His toes are too broad, hairy, and scarred from Fenrisian hunts. Don't even get me started on the smell. The only ones that probably smell worse are Mortarion's plague feet. So that would lead me to want to put them in D tier, but still, there's something iconic about them. These are the feet of a warrior king who doesn't care what anyone thinks. They tell a story. Every scar is a hunt. Every broken toenail is a fight won. So while they're not aesthetically pleasing at all, I think that that's enough to bump him up into C tier. Because while they're not pretty or even remotely clean, they're pure in their own special way. Okay, we have the Primarch of the Imperial Fists, Rogal Dorn. Dorn has some stiff brick wall feet. These are defensive feet. His soles are probably so calloused they could deflect a bolt around. His toes, perfectly aligned, rigid, and completely motionless. And you know he takes care of them, but only for efficiency. He probably trims his nails with a ruler for exact symmetry, maximum practicality, minimum joy. So I'm gonna put them at C tier because yes, they're tough and reliable, but they're also painfully boring. These are feet that are maximally optimum. Zero flaws, but at the same time, zero things that stand out about them. I don't know, they just feel like C tier feet to me. Okay, now we have the Primarch of the Night Lords, Konrad Curze. His feet have to be skeletal and gaunt, just like the rest of him. Long, bony toes with pale, corpse-like skin stretched too tight over them. His nails are probably yellowed and cracked, sharp enough to use as a combat knife. I imagine you could hear them creak when he walks, each step sounding like dry wood snapping, and you know he doesn't wash them, ever. These are feet that have stomped through blood-soaked streets for decades, leaving footprints that terrify entire hive cities. So I'm gonna put them at D tier because I feel like they're just uncomfortable to look at, like if Nosferatu had a foot fetish. Okay, now we're gonna go to the opposite end of the spectrum and talk about the Primarch of the Blood Angels, Sanguinius, the angelic souls of Baal. Sanguinius doesn't just have feet, he has divine instruments of aesthetic perfection. Every inch of his foot is described in scripture. Okay, not literally, but it should be. His arches, sculpted like marble statues. His toes, perfectly shaped, elegant, and shit, they probably even shimmer faintly in the light. This is the Primarch who could be covered in gore, wings tattered, and people would still say, damn, those are some nice ass feet. So yeah, they're beautiful, but even functionally, they're incredible. He's graceful, agile, and can literally fly, which means these feet are as strong as they are gorgeous. This angel probably lands from a 20-meter drop and doesn't even scuff a nail. So I'm putting Sanguinius at the top of S tier because his feet are holy relics. Next up, we have the Primarch of the Iron Hands, Ferrus Manus. So I could go into depth about Ferrus Manus's feet and talk about how his soles are probably harder than ceramite, his toes are probably calloused and burned, the fact that they radiate strength and honesty. But to be honest, none of that matters, because what is the thing that defines him in the lore?
So no head?
And I think because of that, what we're going to call the Daredevil effect comes into play here. Just like when you lose your sight, your other senses become better. Ferrus Manus losing his head must have had a godly effect on his feet due to the aforementioned Daredevil effect. This boost causing his feet to shatter the normal bounds of this tier list, necessitating the creation of a new tier above even S tier, which I'm going to call the Blessed by the Emperor tier. So yeah, Ferrus Manus may have been decapitated, but he gained something so much better in return. Amazing feat. Okay, now we come crashing right back down to earth with the Primarch of the World Eaters, Angron. This is a man who spent most of his life in arenas, barefoot, stomping skulls into paste. His feet are basically living weapons, scarred and brutalized beyond recognition. Every toe is crooked or has been broken at least 5 times. His nails are jagged and claw-like. And due to the fact that you know he never cleans his feet, there's probably still dried blood and brain matter permanently stuck under his nails and between his toes. Ugh, and imagine the smell. Honestly, I see no redeeming qualities in Angron's feet, so I'm gonna put him in F tier. And of course, Demon Prince Angron's feet aren't gonna be any better, so he also goes in F tier. Okay, that leads us to the Primarch of the Ultramarines, Robot Gorilla Man. Bobby G's feet are immaculate. Not in the beautiful ways that Fulgrim's or Sanguinius's are, but in a methodical way. His nails are trimmed to the exact codex-compliant length, his toes are perfectly symmetrical, and his skin is always clean. This is thanks to the 300-page foot care codex he wrote about hygiene. I feel like his feet are methodical and practicality, but taken to a perfect level. Like, they are amazing feet, but just lack something that would bump him up into S tier. So that's why I'm going to put him here in A tier. Okay, now we have the stinky boy, Primarch of the Death Guard, Mortarion. I feel like his feet are just gross, right? They're probably constantly damp. He has athlete's foot. I mean, Nurgle loves his feet, so that should tell you everything, right? He easily has the worst smelling feet. So I want to put him into F tier, but I feel like pre-Chaos Mortarion's feet can't be as horrific as Angron's. And they were probably still really stinky, but that would probably be a plus to some of you sick freaks out there. So I'm going to put him in D tier. But the same can't be said for Demon Prince Mortarion. His feet are probably an ecosystem. Nurgle has cultivated entire microbial civilizations between his toes. I'm just imagining cracked yellow-green skin peeling away in flakes, blackened nails half rotted off, and an ever-present layer of damp sludge. I feel like these are the definition of F tier feet. Okay, that leads us to the Primarch of the Thousand Suns, Magnus the Red. I don't know, I don't really have anything to support this, but I really feel that Magnus takes care of his feet. I'm sure they're always clean, and he probably oils those bad boys up. And beyond that, you gotta give points to the novelty of having red feet, right? I feel like that has to count for something. Am I crazy? I feel like he has long, slender toes wrapped in swirling, ethereal runes glowing faintly beneath his skin. His nails might shimmer like molten glass, fragile yet impossible to break. So I think Magnus's feet belong in A tier. What was I saying? Oh yeah, no, yeah. S tier feet. Okay, so Demon Prince Magnus, he doesn't really have feet, right? They're like hooves. So I think I have to put him into F tier.
2 hours later.
How long have I been staring at the screen for? Oh, Jesus. What was I saying? Oh yeah, he doesn't have feet, so it should knock him down a little bit, right? I think to be fair, I have to put him into A tier. Okay, now we have the War Master himself, Primarch of the Luna Wolves, later called the Sons of Horus, Horus Lupercal. Horus has solid, dependable feet, not angelic like Sanguinius's, or optimal and well taken care of like Guilliman's, but good, honest soldier's feet. Strong, calloused from years of real campaigning, but still surprisingly well kept for a frontline commander. You can tell he really cares to keep them in fighting shape. Trim nails, clean enough to not scare the remembrancers, but not so polished that he looks like a poser. His feet have that trusted commander energy, and I don't really think any of that changes after he falls to chaos. And I don't really have much more to say about them. They're just good, dependable soldier's feet. I think that they belong either at the bottom of B tier or the top of C, but I don't think they're as aesthetically pleasing as the Lion's or Jaghatai's feet are, so I'm gonna put him into C tier. Okay, now we have the Primarch of the Word Bearers, Lorgar. Lorgar's feet are exactly what you'd expect from the galaxy's #1 professional kneeler. Decades spent groveling before the Emperor, and then even more decades spent kneeling to the Chaos Gods have absolutely wrecked his feet. Calloused, blistered, and raw from constant prayer postures. And you know he doesn't really take care of them. He probably sees his blistered feet as a form of self-flagellation, which we know he's a fan of due to his actions immediately following the destruction of Monarchia. That being said, there's probably some kind of aesthetic value to his feet. Like, you would look at them and be like, damn, these could really be some nice feet if he took care of them. Like, his feet have a lot of potential, so I think that raises them above Perturabo's feet, so I'm gonna put him at the bottom of C tier. Now, Demon Lorgar shares the same pitfalls as a lot of the other Demon Primarchs in that it doesn't really look like he has feet, and if they are still feet, they're definitely uglier than his normal feet, so I'm going to put him into F tier. Okay, that leads us to the Primarch of the Salamanders, Vulkan. Vulkan's feet are not pretty, but they endure. His soles are basically living anvils, thick, scarred, and heat-tempered from centuries of walking barefoot across molten forges and volcanic rock. He definitely has calluses, but they're not nasty. They're battle-hardened trophies, each scar telling a story of some ridiculous feat of strength. And despite all of that ruggedness, you know that Vulkan takes care of them. I feel like he thoroughly washes them every night, not for vanity, but because he respects craftsmanship, especially in his own body. So while his feet might not be super aesthetically pleasing, there's just something about them. There's a sturdiness and enduring aspect. He just has man feet, you know what I mean? Rugged man feet that are also really well taken care of. So I think these qualities even out and place him into B tier. Okay, next up we have the Primarch of the Raven Guard, Corvus Corax. Corvus Corax has the kind of feet you'd expect from the galaxy's stealthy Primarch. Soft, quiet, and engineered for absolute silence. First off, you know his soles are unnaturally smooth. Not pretty in a Fulgrim way, but perfectly conditioned for sneaking up right behind a word bearer's back without making a sound. If anyone in the Imperium knows how to exfoliate for stealth purposes, it's Corax. In addition, I think his feet are wiry and strong, built for extreme agility. His toes are probably ridiculously flexible, able to grip ledges or cling to walls like some kind of grim dark bird of prey. Like my man probably literally has grippers. I feel like Corax probably has a secret foot care routine involving fine Raven Guard oils. Soft yet tough, delicate looking but extremely agile and strong. I think that Corvus Corax's feet belong in A tier. Okay, so now we have the twin Primarchs of the Alpha Legion, Alpharius and Omegon. The twins' feet are the hardest to rank because do we even know whose feet we're looking at? Due to their nature, their feet are practical and unremarkable by design. Do they even have distinct feet? They probably swap their shoes around with their legion to confuse everyone. Like, they just refuse to stand out. And because of this sheer dishonesty, I think that I'm gonna put them in D tier. Because while there's nothing actually wrong with them, so I can't put them in F tier, I feel like their feet is the feet of cowards, so I can't put them any higher. Okay, and as a little special treat, I'm sure you already saw on the tier list, I'm going to rank the feet of the God Emperor of mankind himself. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. The Emperor has this ability to appear perfect to everyone. So basically, he appears differently to different people. Some people might just see a glowing halo of radiant light. Others might see a ripped jack guy, and so on and so forth. And I would say that definitely extends to his feet. Whatever you think is the perfect pair of feet, that's how the Emperor's feet are gonna look to you. So obviously, he goes at the top of the Blessed by the Emperor tier. And finally, that leads us to him on the Golden Throne, the Corpse Emperor. After taking a look at him, you're probably thinking, well, he's basically just a rotting corpse. There's nothing aesthetically pleasing about him, right? But the thing is, he has sacrificed 1,000 psychers a day to sustain his life as he rots on the Golden Throne. But you might not have known this. He actually only needs 999 souls to sustain himself. That extra 1 soul a day goes straight to maintaining those godly feet of his. Feet that could make warlords bend the knee. Feet that almost brought an entire galaxy to heel. So that is why, if we're looking at just feet alone, he's still in Blessed by the Emperor tier, baby. Thank you so much for staying till the end of this very silly video. I appreciate all of you. A little update, I have some of the Primarchs done, but I'm still commissioning further artists to make art for the oiled up Primarch tier list. So if you have any questions, or if you're interested or know anybody that's interested, feel free to reach out to my email. Let me know where you would rank these Primarchs' feet in the comments below, or just let me know what you would like to see me cover next. Thank you so much again. Until next time, Goblin out.